Hi, I'm Kristen, and today I'm going to teach you how to make carnitas right in your Instant Pot. If you're new here, welcome to my kitchen. I love sharing easy recipes that your family will love, and I love my Instant Pot. And I'm so excited to share with you how easy it is to make pork carnitas right in your Instant Pot. This recipe may not be authentic, but it's sure delicious. And the flavor and the textures that we can replicate in our Instant Pot are pretty spot on. Carnitas are typically simmered in lard or fat for long periods of time with seasonings, and the pork breaks down and becomes tender and crisp on the outside as it simmers in that fat. So delicious, so bad for you, and takes a very, very long time to make. Well, in the Instant Pot, it's a game changer. We can make pork that is fall apart tender and that absorbs all the juice and flavors that we're going to infuse into our carnitas, and then we can crisp it up in the broiler for perfect texture. You guys, this meat is awesome. It's perfect on tacos and burrito bowls or just to eat by the forkful. So let's get started. The first thing you need is a pork shoulder roast or a pork butt. You can also use pork loin, but that's a lot leaner, and so to mimic the flavors a lot more closely, you really do want to use a pork shoulder or a pork butt as it has more marbling through it. Okay, to get started with this recipe, the first thing we need is our meat. Now, this recipe is made with a pork roast. A pork shoulder, otherwise known as a pork butt, is the preferred cut of meat as it's really marbled and will break down and become super tender and super flavorful. If you need a leaner cut of meat, you can use a pork loin roast, not a pork tenderloin, but a pork loin. For your meat, whichever piece that you choose, you want to cut into 3 to 4 inch chunks. This is going to help the meat to really break down in the Instant Pot. It's really easy to cut meat yourself. I do it all the time for recipes like Instant Pot pork and sauerkraut or my Instant Pot pulled pork recipe, but you can also ask your butcher to cut your roast up for you. If you just take it to the meat counter and you ask nicely, they do this for free. It's a service most people don't know exists, and it's one I love to take advantage of. Now, we're going to sear our meat in the Instant Pot. When I'm making pulled pork or pork and sauerkraut, I typically don't sear my meat, and that's because we're not looking to get that crispy exterior that we are on the pork carnita meat. So we're going to hit saute on our Instant Pot and let it warm up here. Once our Instant Pot is warmed up, add in about a ½ tablespoon of canola oil or olive oil of a pork roast that's been cut into those 3 to 4 inch chunks. And then to my pork, I'm going to let it sear on each side and move it around here. But I'm also going to add in my seasonings now. It's going to give my seasonings a chance to kind of absorb into the meat and to toast up a little bit, which really brings out their flavor. So to my Instant Pot, I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of cumin. Now move your meat around until all the sides are evenly browned. Once they are, hit off on your Instant Pot or cancel. And then we're going to add in our liquid. I'm using orange juice and beer, a light lager beer. The orange juice and beer really add tremendous flavor to the carnitas. If you don't have beer, you can certainly use chicken stock in place of the beer. But the orange juice is highly recommended. It really gives this meat incredible flavor. So I'm pouring in 1 cup of orange juice and 1 cup of beer. And then I want to scrape the bottom of my inner pot and get up all those brown bits that formed from my pork searing. That will prevent a burn warning from happening in the Instant Pot. And that's it. Now we're going to place our lid on our Instant Pot. Be sure your vent knob is pointed towards sealed, not venting. And then we want to cook this for 40 minutes on high pressure, unless you're using pork loin. If you're using pork loin, you're only going to cook for 30 minutes on high pressure. To set cook time, hit manual or pressure cook and use the plus or minus buttons to adjust until it reads 40. It'll take a little bit of time for your Instant Pot to come to pressure. Once it does, cook time will start, and once cook time has elapsed, let pressure release naturally for at least 15 minutes. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I tell you over and over, when you're cooking meat, let pressure release naturally to keep that meat tender and juicy. Once pressure has been released for at least 15 minutes, or you can let pressure release naturally all the way, you want to open up your Instant Pot. And you can see here we have chunks of pork that are just about falling apart tender. I'm going to transfer my pork into a large mixing bowl to shred. And my favorite tip for shredding meat is to use a handheld kitchen mixer. Turn it on low speed and let it shred your meat easily. Once your meat is shredded, if you'd like that crispy exterior that is traditional with carnita meat, you want to transfer your meat to a rimmed baking sheet. I'm going to ladle over some of the cooking juices to keep the meat moist and flavorful. And then I'm going to take the meat and pop it under the broiler for just a couple minutes to get crispy on the top, and you can flip it and broil again for just another minute or 2. Okay, my meat's been broiled, and now I'm ready to serve this carnita meat. Again, you can just serve it on rice, you can serve it on a salad, you could serve it in a baked sweet potato or a baked potato with some salsa or some salsa verde. It's delicious. I love to serve this carnita meat served on a flour tortilla, topped with shredded cabbage for crunch, a little queso fresco, and some cilantro. You guys, this is perfect. The meat is flavorful, it's so juicy, the cumin is coming through, hints of orange. It's just bright, it's perfectly balanced, it's got some crispness, and still the meat is so juicy. And the cabbage on top, it just gives it that crunch that you crave. And then the queso fresco brings in this sharp bite. It's delicious. You guys, this carnita meat is such an affordable recipe. It's so easy to make. It feeds a crowd. Everybody loves it. It's perfect to entertain with, and it is just downright delicious. I hope you give it a try. Give it a thumbs up, and be sure to catch my next recipe where I show you how to make perfect Instant Pot pulled pork. It's another winner. I'll catch you there.